Hello friends, and welcome back to another yoga session courtesy of Brain Body Breath Yoga. I am Alexis. Thank you so much for joining me today. So my plan was to do a grounded meditation, but I also kind of feel like moving a little bit. So I decided I'm just gonna improvise a little bit and combine both of those things. So we're gonna do a little bit of movement and we're gonna work our way down to our grounded meditation, which is going to consist more so of breath work as we work through that. So let's get started. I'm going to turn sideways here, and you'll notice I don't have a mat with me, and that's just to signify that we can do this practice wherever, whenever we would like. We don't need a yoga mat to accomplish these things. So no yoga mat, free space. Come along and join me. All right, so we're starting. Standing in mountain pose, already getting in connection to that grounded feeling in mountain pose. Sometimes I like to rock back and forth just to see that feeling, check in with that feeling of instability before I ground down through the soles of my feet to tap into that connection coming up through the soles of the feet, that support that I'm getting from the earth, from the environment that's with me always to tap into. This is what we start to look for in mountain pose. So take a moment to check in, reach up through the crown of the head, maybe on an inhale, and sink down through the soles of the feet even more, maybe on your exhale, so we can tap into that feeling of grounding, or at least start to tap into those things, that idea. And so from this place, let's just start to breathe. Breathing in big, filling the lungs up with air, and exhaling, fully releasing all the air from the lungs. Maybe imagining pulling that air up from the base of the spine as you exhale and bringing it down to the base of the spine as you inhale. Good. Good. And as you do, start to tap into play with all those things. Just sink into that feeling through the soles of the feet. See how you are being supported in your efforts in this moment. See how that space of connecting to being grounded is creating more space for possibility for you in your life and in your practice. Good. Still looking for that stability on our next exhale. We imagine bringing the belly button to the back of the spine so we can stabilize our core. Once again, that balance that we get from the core helps us to feel more grounded. So check in. Good. Sometimes we're holding on to things in the body or in the mind that can prevent us from tapping into that connection. So I invite you to use your breath in this moment to just see where you might feel some tension. Maybe it's in the body, the shoulders, the hips, the head. Maybe it's in the mind. Good. So just check in to see where that tension may be, that thing that's preventing you from feeling grounded. And we'll work to soften that as we move throughout the practice. From this place, let's put a soft bend in the knees. You'll see as you put that soft bend in the knees, you ground down even more into that connection through the soles of the feet. So let's stick with that grounding down, sticking those feet to the mat. We take a big inhale, send the hands down, around and up, stretching up, sending all that energy up through the palms of the hands, and then drawing it down through the soles of the feet. Good. On the next exhale, belly button to spine, balance, protect your back. We go down into a forward fold. You can bend your knees here as much or as little as you need to. Sometimes we're really tight in the hamstrings, so we'll be honest with ourselves and keep those legs or those knees bent. If we have a little more flexibility, maybe we find a slight bend. No biggie here. Release into that forward fold. Tap into your connection as you fold inward, releasing the back. Stretching the hamstrings. And then we'll slowly inhale, find a half bend here. Feel free to keep those knees bent as you lift the chest if you like. And on the exhale, we'll once again find our fold. Good. Just getting a little movement here. Next big inhale. Bend the knees once again. Sink into your connection. Deep, deep, deep. Big inhale up. Rooting through the feet to lift up through our center. Good. And on the exhale, we'll try that once again. A little half sun salutation here to get us wake up. No. Anywho, take it down to your forward fold. High, inhale up, half bend. Keep those knees bent if you need to. And exhale and sink. Very good. Excellent. Now from here to come down to the mat, let's bend those knees, sink down in our connection. Trust ourselves as we step one foot, our favorite foot, as I like to say to my students, you step your favorite foot back first. And then we'll step that opposite foot back into a down dog if it feels good. Again, remember, we can bend those knees. Good. We're not going to stay here too long. Let's take it down to the mat with child's pose. Bend the knees. Great job. Maybe send the big toes to touch. And we'll sit those hips down. Maybe plant the forehead down into the floor of the mat for our child's pose. Good. Nice. Here, I like to instruct to get in big, deep belly breaths, breathing in, filling up the lungs with air. Again, we come back to that analogy of breathing into the base of the spine and out of the base of the spine. Good. This will allow us to release some things too, so we can be better able to tap into that feeling of being grounded. But even here in child's pose, we feel that sinking and relaxing, that act of surrendering, of letting go to whatever forces may be around us, things that are out of our control. These are the things that come up for me when I sit in child's pose, a surrendering to what is, which actually has a lot to do with being grounded. Good, because it takes a strong foundation to be able to surrender to what is. So tap into that. Just relax, soften, let something go. Good. And on the next inhale, we'll ground down through the palms of the hands to lift up once again, grounding our connection to lift up to get higher. Good. And on the exhale, we'll walk the hands in toward our center and swing our knees around to come to seated. Here we are. Good. Got a little movement in so we can come to our seated position a little more effortlessly than before, potentially. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, we're going to meet ourselves where we are today as we come into this space. So palms facing up or down, whatever feels best for your body in the moment. We come into this posture by taking a big inhale, pinching the shoulder blades up toward the ears, or at least that's the way I like to come into it. And a big exhale and sinking down through the soles of the feet, through our hips, because we're seated now, through our sits bones. Good. And we breathe. Again, focusing on those big breaths, breathing into the base of the spine and out of the base of the spine. Nice. As we do that, let's start to just take a look at what might be swirling about in the brain today, in the monkey mind. Just take a peek at it. And we'll work to use our inhales and exhales to soften that mind chatter just a little bit more, so we can tap into that feeling of being grounded. So on these next few inhales in and exhales out, see if we can work to treat our breath like a remote control. And every time we exhale, that mind chatter, without focusing on what it is, it gets quieter and quieter. We turn the volume down notch by notch until we can either not hear it or just barely hear it in the background, right? So just play with that, see what you find there. Don't attach to anything if you feel like it's not working. We're just testing it out. Excellent. And from this place of looking at the mind, working to clear out, quiet the mind, bring your awareness to your seat, that thing that's connected to the mat, the floor, the earth. And really start to feel that connection between the seat, the carpet, whatever type of surface you're sitting on. Really start to feel that connection. Maybe even we try to breathe into it. And as we start to feel that connection coming up through our sits bones, supporting our efforts, supporting our practice, supporting our breath, I want you to start to imagine your exhales kind of innervating this connection. And every time you exhale, you're sending roots down from your sits bones into the earth to get even more deeply connected. Creating those roots with each exhale, flowing down through the seat, through the earth. Maybe we want to actually visualize those roots being connected, dripping down deep, deep, deep into the earth, deep, deep, deep into that cosmic intelligence, that connection that has the answers even when we don't. We try to send our roots into that. And of course, if we encounter anything coming up in the mind that distracts from us building, reconnecting to that which is supporting us, we quietly send an exhale up to the brain, to the monkey mind, and just blow those things away and imagine them gone. Exhaling deeply, building those roots, reconnecting to those roots down through the sits bones. And as always, as we start to breathe into these things, start to play with these ideas, we start to kind of feel how present that connection really is, and how all it takes is just an attempt, an awareness to focus on that connection, to rebuild it, to find that support that we always have. It's similar to, a tree or planting a seed. We see the things that's happening above the surface. Sometimes it doesn't look like there's a lot going on above the surface, especially when you've just planted a seed in the ground, but there is a lot of things working underneath the surface. It's building those connections so it can then come up out and from within the earth and reveal all of its glory. So that's what we're working on here. All of those things that are happening underneath the surface in the dirt to help that seed come up and see the light of day. That's what we're trying to tap into here. And if that seems too broad, too big, it's okay. Just breathe into it. Keep it up there in the back of the mind. Excellent. Building those roots, reconnecting to those roots with every inhale in and every exhale out. Feel you reconnecting and building that support, sinking into that support, surrendering to it, and allowing it to present whatever it might into your space and into your life. Big inhales in, soft, slow exhales out, sinking in. Excellent. Let's start to come back. We'll start to refocus on the breath. If we started to sink into that imagery of building our roots, we come back into the body by refocusing heavily, deeply on the breath. coming back into the room, back into the body. And if it feels good in this moment, we'll turn the palms up, take a big inhale, and send the hands down, around, and up. Maybe the hands meet in prayer, maybe they don't. Once again, we're sending that energy up and bringing it down. We'll end with a big inhale to confirm it, and a big exhale to affirm it. Namaste.